Hey guys, this is Mistress Nightmare here, and today we'll be reading another Yandere one-shot story. It is Stolen Heart, an Eyeless Jack Yandere story. Written by the lovely MadameBlackSpades. I'll leave a link to the story in the description box below. And hopefully you guys hit that like button, comment, subscribe to this channel if you guys want more creepypasta fanfictions out there. Until then, let's get started. Hey Dad, where are you going? I asked, shifting my gaze from the television screen to see him slide an arm in his brown jacket sleeve. Sorry, honey, but the department needs me for a quick hour. I believe they have found a lead on that kidney thief that's running around the city. He yawned in his tired voice. He had heavy bags seemed to cause him to have more wrinkles underneath his eyes. He's increasing his rate rapidly, isn't he? I asked. My dad shook his head, and his hand clapped the sheriff's hat as he stepped into the dark of the night. It seems like it, doesn't it? It doesn't make sense, though. Why would he want kidneys? What use is it for him? It's just insanity how he managed to keep his victims in place while he performs the procedure in the dead of night. We already check the recording records of the medical staff that leave only to have them skip clean. It truly is a puzzle. He dragged his big head down his face and started to close the door, only to leave it lurk for our eyes to meet, but not breaking eye contact with each other. Lock all the doors and windows, darling. Don't move the blackout curtains for even a second. The last murder was in this area. Stay safe. Love you. With that, he left. I stood up and clicked the remote off button and started to make my way to the room. I did what he said as the journey my travel upstairs to the last of the rooms was left. I swung the door open and flopped onto my bed. I placed the last step. I sighed and turned a picture of my mom on my dresser. It's still harder to believe that you died at the age of 30, Mom, all because you got cancer, I whispered. She looked beautiful when she was alive and when she was in the casket. A picture that had a perfect setting framed into a body like sculpture. The mother that birthed me and the mother that raised me. I smiled again at the sad memory and the usual no response. I'm gonna go take a shower, Mom. Okay? Again, no response. I sighed again and walked towards the bathroom that was connected to my bedroom for easy access. I shivered at the cold temperature, rather adjust the warm degree into my room. I checked the windows of the bathroom and saw it was still shutly tight. I shrugged and grabbed my favorite blue towel underneath the sink, and I began to strip out of my clothes. As I released my long hair from its leather bound and shook it once, letting the black hair tumble locks down my back. I took off my favorite colored undergarment, which would happen to be red, and chucked them into the hamper, which looked awfully bigger from earlier. I closed the door that led to the small room that contains the hamper and stepped on a yellow-green mat, completely naked. I reached behind the trash bin trash dispenser and slid the door and cupped the hot and cold handle, twisting them both at the same time, waiting for the different temperatures of the waters to blend. And I thrust my body in. As I poured shampoo gel onto my open palm and thought of an amazing idea. The house was quiet. No one was here. Might as well have a bath. I shrieked in happiness. I jumped out of the shower and quickly splintered in front of the sink cabinet and pulling it open and pulling out the supplies I needed to have a nice bath. My favorite vanilla scented candles, bath candies, and mats. I just had to be a real spoiled rose petals. Then I heard a grunt in pleasure. It came from the hamper. I pressed my ear on the wood and listened carefully to the action on the other side. The sound like heavy pants. I was right. That was a grunt of pleasure. As whatever started to mutter something, it was too distant to hear, like it was muffling something. I grabbed the handle, twisting it slowly and opened it and copied the speed. I saw nothing out of the ordinary. The hamper was the same height. No one was there. The ceiling had no spiders like things, which made all the noise, so I shut the door and decided that the madness of anxiety for my dad's outgoing case has gotten to me work up. I checked and provided my heaven until I heard a voice that shed shivers down my spine as it said in my name in delight. Annie. Again, I checked at my ignorance. Time skip, unknown period of time. I sunk into the tub, inhaling the sweet artificial scents of my favorite fragrance, would happen to be vanilla bean mixed with roses. As the candles and the lovely petals drifted over my relaxed body, as it reminded me of drowning under the bubbly water. The hot water was warm now, like my room. It felt like I was wrapped in a thick blanket that was comforting. Everything was perfect. The mood, the lighting were dim. The feeling, I was soon out of curiosity. Everything. That ended when I heard the door open and slam shut below the floor I'm currently on. I know my dad's grumpy, especially when it's this late, but to have to slam the door. I think the department came to his same dead end. He dragged his feet up the stairs into his room. Have I been here for an hour? Damn, relaxation can loosen someone's bolts. I yawned and I stood up from the tub as the water streamed down my glistening body, curving the rocks into perfection, and the skin color that was milky white from the way above. I slowly rubbed a towel over my body and drying off my hair as it was dripping wet onto the mat. I hummed a favorite song. Inspiration of meeting my prince in white. I hung the towel around my body as I unplugged the drain and threw the wet rose petals into the trash. And I blew out the candles and checked my bathroom door for aromas that floated into my room, playing with my nose as I fell into a whisper of my dream. I tiptoed into my room licked my lips. I saw my dresser that drag a pair of fresh panties and bras as I dropped the towel, submissively letting my favorite color, blue bra, cling to my torso as I pulled the waistband of rose embroidery matching panties up to my colored skin legs. I didn't bother putting on my pajamas as tomorrow my dad will be leaving early and there is no school tomorrow due to the city's current situation. I fell backward on the soft mattress and tossed my black comforter over my body. I fluttered my suddenly heavy eyelids and drifted into an easy snore. Despite the deep shift that was, the whole place was shaking up. Unknown period of time. I woke up to the rustle on my right, and I opened my eyes and I saw a man's bare chest and his arms wrapped around my form. I held in my shriek with a purse on my lips. I slowly tried to squirm my way out, only for him to pull me closer as he moved his head from the crown of my head to my face. "Hello, love. How did you sleep?" He yawned and lightly pecked my nose, slightly realizing his tongue that was tasting my skin. Who are you?" I managed to mentally slap myself for the stutter. "How did you get in?" I said, sounding a bit braver. "My name is Jack, and I'm your lover," he whispered in a husky tone in my ear. Due to the darkness, I couldn't see how he looked, but the lack of clothes on myself, I felt him bare. He was laying naked on my bed with his ego touching my womanhood, though the panties, all I could see that his shadow silhouette overpowered my smaller one. "I have no lover," I said harshly and placed my hands on his bare chest, giving him a hard push. But he chuckled. It wasn't even the kind chuckle you give out of slight funny jokes. It was a challenging chuckle, the one that filled with deviousness and dark evil. He grabbed my ass and then the back of my head and hissed sickly and began to so-called love. "I am your lover, and I have the most perfect way to prove it." He sat up and pulled me along with him. He covered my mouth with the hand that held my head in place and left another muscular arm underneath my armpit, clutching on my left breast in his hand, which made me arch my back against his carved chest as he flicked his tongue out and slid its slimy muscle onto my neck slowly. "You truly taste delicious, dear." He chuckled a bit harder into my neck, like a thirsty vampire. I whimpered in pain, but it came out as a mutter due to the appendages that was cupping my mouth from releasing or trying to call for help. He let out a slurping sound loudly on the blood that leaked out from the flesh wound and licked it away. Any metallic liquid, he missed it before kissing it and sucking on the major hickeys around my neck and letting go of the bruise with a satisfying pop. Then he traveled his cold lips to my jaw and kissed his way to the corner of my mouth, and then letting go of his his lips upon mine. He grunted and nudged on the saliva that was resting on my tongue as he felt every crook and cranny with his own. He twisted my body to face him and dangled his head at a much better angle that both my hands were above my head, with one hand being held by one hand, while the other tried to depart the clips from my bra. Tears streamed down my face as his tongue dived deeper from an unknown prize and took a chance and biting down on his tongue hard. Surprised by my action and pain, he suddenly let go of me, and I took this chance to beat my feet. I took off, exiting to the hallway as I heard him snarl. Annie, if I were you, you will come back here before I get myself. And so help me, I won't go easy. Thunder boomed outside. This isn't my heart. Lightning is striking. That was adrenaline. I raced to my dad's room only to find it untouched, like he left it to his department. I searched frantically for him. I checked underneath the bed for him like a child would do if they were playing hide and seek. I turned to see Jack that came in and tackled me to the ground, grabbing my waist, and he lifted me up into the air and threw me onto the bed. Before I could even register my position, he crawled on my lap, grabbing both my wrists and handcuffing them together onto the headboard. He parted my legs, and he could sit between them, and injected his injected member at the closed entrance. You shouldn't have been here, Annie. I was going to give it to you after I show you how much I love you. But it looks like you can't wait for the surprise, so I'll give it to you now. He pulled away and walked into the closet in my dad's room. He drew the handle, revealing my gift. I screamed in sadness and utter denial. He rolled my dad out of the closet in his computer chair. His chest had a fist-sized hole where his heart's supposed to be. His head was missing, and I think that his eyes were in his chest where his heart was placed. I was hyperventilating. I felt bile rise up to my throat. Annie, this is what I wanted to give you. Jack took out my dad's head and placed it on his right palm, and then the other two fingers into the bloody sockets and gently opened the mouth, replying it forcefully. Inside the mouth was the heart that he took out the organ from my once living dad. I wanted to let you know you stole my heart, and I know I couldn't give you mine without dying. So I thought that since you loved your father, and you could love me because I'm giving you the heart of someone you love. I read that girls like these kind of things, so I do apologize that I carved a message onto it, that I couldn't carve a message onto it. I set it aside for now, okay? Then he left the head and heart on the dresser and repositioning himself at my entrance and slowly removing the panties and bra. I want to hear every sound. I stared at the discapitated head and ripped heart. I looked at the tied up body with the missing parts. I turned to the silhouette as lightning struck. My eyes widened at what I saw. A boy with messy brunette hair, gray, clammy skin, was naked on top of me. He had no eyes, only black socket that oozed black substance down his face. He had shark-like teeth that was showing an ounce of blood-stained rose, jagged edges. You won't get away with this, I whispered. He laughed manically and faced me. If I can get away with murder, I can get away with another body that can change and be charged of kidnapping. His expression, he smirked at me, and my expression, and attacking my neck. You're not gonna get away with this. Someone will stop you, I gasped. He stopped. Give it a rest. You know, you and I both know that it will never happen. You know why? And just admit that you were wrong. He straightened himself and thrust his enormous size into me. I screamed in pain as he tore the barrier. My eyelids were filled with tears. Without giving me time to adjust, he began to move.